You should know the answer by now. That's crazy. Anyway, let's do it. Light news. Ibi responds to Macron saying arms embargo. If Dua Lipa handed me a Diet Pepsi, I'd still drink it. Al Jazeera investigates Western media bias on Israel. Name 5 Dua Lipa songs. I can't, and I don't care to. I have never, like, what? You think this is about, dude? My respect for Dua Lipa has absolutely zero to do with her music and everything to fucking do with her Albanian status. Okay, she's Albanian. She's Muslim. She is pro-Palestine. That's it. That's where this comes from. Okay. Also, that one video. I didn't even know she made music until recently. Average male feminist? Wait, what? I think it's more. Wait, first of all, me liking Dua Lipa because she's pro-Palestine is literally better than me liking Dua Lipa for her fucking music. What are you talking about? Dua Lipa is not a practicing Muslim, but like she comes from a Muslim family. Aren't you going to K-Wan's thing? I am. Later. Jordanian NGOs are warning of missile activities in the next couple hours. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Iran relationship as well. Okay. But yeah. Bro, you also just think she's hot, don't deny. Yeah, of course. Of course I do. No, I was saying that already. Anyway, all right. And then oh yeah, Trump is back in Butler alongside Elon, where he was last shot at. Get in now. Fucking hate Elon Musk. Austin is chirping about Elon Musk in the background. Do we have a blast off meme? U.S. CENTCOM chief lands in Israel as IDF readies response to the Iranian missile attack. Yeah, I know. Israel is gonna attack Iran probably today or maybe tomorrow, which is crazy because I was planning on not streaming tomorrow. Respectfully disagree. I think respecting a person's body of work is oftentimes more important than an opinion they hold most of the time. I don't care what your opinion is. Okay. Yeah, I'm fucking misogynistic because I think Dua Lipa is sexy and is pro-Palestine, which I think makes her even cooler. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Who cares? Yes, dude. I think a famous Hollywood celebrity musician is hot. Like, that is literally like 90% of the appeal for most of these people. What are we talking about? Wait, before you start, did you see this? I got a bit tired of reading, so I browsed my subscription, saw the anime Dan was up. So I decided to watch the first episode. I haven't read the original manga, but being from the generation that loves the occult and UFOs, it really hit home. I used to skim through Moo magazine too. I like the Science Sara's unique lens and their animation style. It's also reassuring to know that Naoki Onda, someone from my generation, is handling the character design. Shion Wakayama is in it too. I'll keep watching this. Yeah, my goat, dude. Me and Hideo are like this. The only reason why I want to be famous is specifically so that one day Hideo Kojima will notice me, you know? I wish. What the fuck? There's no way this fucking senator literally thinks this is a real thing, right? Based Mike Lee, is this real? I think AI art is bricked people so fucking hard. Anyway, first step is fucking wild. Yeah, it is. What? Kick streamer beware on watching on stream. Why did you send me this then? Okay, I don't care. Imagine Hideo Kojima asked you to face scan you one day. I would die. It'd be the sickest thing. It would be. That's my goat, dude. That is my dream, dude. Okay. Let's blast off. Do we have a blast off meme chat? Oh fuck. I lost my tweet. Shit, I gotta run it again. God damn it. I literally have to run it again. Fuck! Saturday Lite news plus Funday. BB yells at Macron for arms embargo. What the fuck was I? I'm so mad. I'm all over the fucking place. God damn it. It's not in my drafts. It doesn't work that way. I accidentally turned it off. Do we have a fucking blast off meme or not? I'm not going to use the Alveus art piece as a blast off. Okay. It's great, but I'm not going to use that one. Okay. This is great. Okay. I'll use this one. Okay. Everyone is literally one mind, dude. I swear to God. Saturday Night News Funday. BBLs and Macron for arms embargo. Trump and Elon go back to Butler, where Trump almost died. Austin is in the building. Oh yeah. AJ discovers Western MSM bias for Israel. Get in now. I've been live for 40 fucking minutes. I haven't even been able to blast off yet because have you seen the new KSI song everyone's clowning on him for? No. Part of that is because I don't really care. Like I don't really care about what KSI does in general. Maybe I'm unique in that. We'll do Okay Buddy later as well. All right, I finally got through with it. I blasted off. I just don't really care what KSI does. I just see him as like as a relatively inoffensive content creator from the UK. I don't really give a shit one way or another. Coping? I think it's because first of all, this is not AI. A chatter made this. Why are you saying it's AI? I'm 30 plus years old. I think that like all the British content creators, like the Sideman, all those guys are like, in comparison, I think in comparison to so many like dog shit content creators out there in America, especially, he is literally like one, like like his most offensive aspect is that he is like aligned with Logan Paul, you know? Like he is a top content creator for England. Are you serious? Yeah, I remember like his big controversy was the P word controversy, right? That was like a big thing. I've literally never watched a single fucking KSI video. Like I don't even know what his channel, like where his channel even is. The P word is a slur for it's Pakistani shortened. That was like the big thing. And he immediately apologized for it. And I think he probably has like I'm sure he has like old controversies that I'm unfamiliar with. Like I said, I'm 33, man. I don't care. I'm 33 fucking years old, dog. Would you create a blue sky for the Brazilians? I miss your bangers. No, you got to come here if you want to see my bangers. Have you noticed all the freak stuff that happens in the world is from the US? I have noticed because we are the number one export of fucking brain rot, dude. We are. What is this, Bernie? What the fuck is this?
Where'd that come from? All right, you're in trouble now, kid.
You're in trouble now, kid.
Aha.
Wait, where does he make that noise? Oh, in the beginning. Yeah. Someone already set up a mirror for your tweets for Blue Sky, so we're good. There you go. There's an automated mirror. Hasanabi repeater at Blue Sky. There you go, Brazilians. You can check that out. If you're multilingual, the internet is so different, though. Yeah, I'm multilingual, but I still only fuck with American and English internet in general. Anyway, let's we blasted off. This is a beautiful piece of art. Nothing is by Lizzie O'Donnell. Nothing has made me happier recently than watching Gasol on the Hunt and Alveus Sanctuary go to the zoo. It was a very, very fun experience. As you guys know, it's my favorite. It's my favorite thing to do. Yes, I listened to what Maya said about me yesterday on stream. She said some nice things. Dude, I just gotta say something. This right here, this kind of stuff is not verified. Okay, I saw this guy's thread about like how many fucking soldiers are like escaping Hezbollah because they're scared or whatever, and how there's mutiny cooking up among the ranks or whatever. What do I always tell you, man? If something seems too good to be true, don't immediately fucking, don't immediately fucking fall for it, dude. Don't post unverified shit. Like, we know for a fact that the diaper brigade that tried to enter Lebanon absolutely got fucking dunked on. Okay, they did. A bunch of like 18-year-old sergeants and generals were murked as they tried to fucking go into Lebanon, as they tried to invade Lebanon. That part is correct, right? That actually fucking happened. But that doesn't mean that, like, you know, thousands are at the verge of mutiny or whatever. Yeah, the dude who broke the news was clearly lying about being an IDF veteran. I know. So many people just like get duped by some fucking groiper. So many people get duped by some like random fucking groiper account that's like, I am Jew. I hate Goyim. I am you know, it'll literally be like some fucking groiped up ass like Nick Fuentes supporter who makes like an account that's like, I don't know, yeah, Supermensch 69 is the name of the account. And he's like, I am disgusting Jew. I hate Goyim. I feel like I'm above them. And also, here, as a 22-year-old, veteran of the IDF, it's like, dude, come on. Like, please, please. Only thing I saw reports of was Hezbollah doing huge ambush. No, that is true. Hezbollah has been clapping on the border incursions. Okay, that part is correct. That is actually happening, and it is the expected outcome of trying to fucking invade Lebanon and a military force that I told you already was much better than Hamas, because they're not, you know, they have more combat experience. They have a successful track record of purging Israeli invasions in the past. Like, no shit. So yeah, it's they have their terrain hardened. Of course they're going to do a better job. These guys can't fight against people that can fight back. We know that, okay? They've gotten far too comfortable just like shooting at fucking children. So obviously when they're shooting at people that have the capacity to shoot back, they have a hard time with it. That was the expected outcome. So they'll retreat their troops and they'll keep pummeling with air support, with air superiority, because that's the cowardly method, and they will continue trying to do that. The other side of the story, of course, is the obvious reality that, like, in my estimation at least, some of the cooler heads inside of the Israeli government must see the obvious reality that I see, which is that clearly, okay, Iran has been able to penetrate the Israeli anti-missile systems very successfully, as a matter of fact. And this presents a unique problem for Israel's, you know, overarching confidence and the veil that they have created amongst the population. They can't fuck the bag up. They can't actually personally recognize that maybe Israel is not the safe haven that they claimed it was with its Iron Dome and whatnot. When the Iron Dome and the David Sling and all the arrow systems don't actually work, all of a sudden, this changes the dynamic quite a bit, okay? So it doesn't matter. Even if you have like the American CENTCOM general there and you're like, oh yeah, let's figure out a way to fucking strike Iran back. Let's get real cocky with it. Unless you are literally marching towards like the death and destruction of Israeli civilian population in Tel Aviv, good luck with this, okay? Good luck. You are going to cost civilian casualties inside of Israel. You are going to dramatically alter Israeli collective consciousness and Israeli security assurances if you continue along this trajectory. Okay? And if you are a Hasanabi head in Israel and you have the capacity to leave Israel, I would urge you to do so. Okay? I would say the same thing for the Lebanese population, but obviously the situation is a little bit different for Lebanon. Do not take for granted what the previous method was, what the previous like security assurances you got looked like. It is very obvious to me and to anyone with eyes to see, okay, that can look at the situation and recognize what's going on, that Israel cannot protect its own citizens, that the Iron Dome is not the impenetrable fortress that it claimed it was, that clearly Iranian missiles have the capacity to literally break through that barrier and directly strike targets. Specifically, according to Western media now, 32 times on one fucking airbase. There was a reason why Israel does not want to recognize that. There's a reason why they wanted to fucking make sure that no information like this came out. If the Iranian missiles can penetrate David Sling, arrows 1 through 3, and the Iron Dome, okay, 32 times on target on one of the 2 air bases that they struck that we know of, okay, if they can straight up do that, they can hit Tel Aviv. That's it. That's all. This last incursion, this last retaliation from Iran was basically to say, we can actually hit you, just so you know. Like, they said they were going to hit 3 targets. They said they were going to hit 2 air bases, which they did successfully. And they said they were going to hit the Mossad headquarters, which they didn't hit successfully. They actually hit, like, you know, close enough in the distance, but they weren't able to successfully strike the Mossad headquarters. Now, this is important to understand, okay? Because if they can do that, that means they can just take down city blocks, okay? It's that simple. If their bombs can penetrate the Israeli anti-missile defenses, that means they can fucking hit Tel Aviv and take down entire city blocks in the same exact way that Israel does to Lebanon, in the same exact way that Israel has done to Gaza, in the same exact way that Israel has done to Syria and Iraq and Yemen. So what I find really odd, what I find really, really fucking odd, is this weird song and dance that the American media is playing, that the Israeli media is playing, where they're just making it seem like, no, none of those missiles actually hit on target. It's like, you can see it. You can see that it did with your own eyes if you watch the fucking footage, but you can also see that it hit on target if you look at, like, some of these other outlets, like even Washington Post did, like, visual forensics on it, where they were like, yeah, 32 direct hits on at least one of the air bases. Okay. So that directly goes at odds. That is directly at odds with what Israel has communicated to the world. But they have an interest in creating this narrative that they're, like, super successful. On the other side, you also have ultra Zionists on Twitter being like, they didn't even kill a single civilian. Okay, how stupid! These guys suck. They didn't even kill a single civilian. It's like, dude, that is not an estimation of success. Okay, Iran demonstrating restraint in this regard and only striking military targets is not a moment for you to flex, dumbass. The fuck are you saying? How is that your metric for a successful military incursion? Like, I don't really understand. Like, are you that fucking brain broken where you're like, wow, they didn't even do, like, a litany of war crimes in the same way that we do? Like, what's the argument here? You think that they wanted to fucking hit civilian targets, but then the missiles somehow directed themselves to military bases because they're that bad? Is that what it is? Not everyone's military might is calculated at how many babies that they kill directly in their fucking cribs. You monstrous assholes. But from the moment that I watched those missiles hit military bases, the message for me was clear, that they have the capacity to penetrate Israel's anti-missile systems. This is not like the last, like, loiter munitions that they fucking blew over 35 minutes on drones and shit. It wasn't like that at all. It was very different. That was unique as well. But this time it was definitely it was obvious that they were saying, we can strike you if we want. So if there are some, I don't know, people that are at least remotely interested in preserving the security of the Israeli civilian population, Iran isn't even close to penetrating the Iron Dome, bro. Keep dreaming. Dude, what do you mean keep dreaming? I didn't dream this. I saw it. What the fuck are you talking about? Also, it's not even the Iron Dome, dumbass. The Iron Dome is for, like, those fucking shitty bathtub rockets. It's for projectiles, okay? Iran can't penetrate an Iron Dome, idiot. Wait, what? Okay. Dog, let me tell you something, okay? Satellite images show dozens of Iranian missiles struck near Israeli airbase. Near, by the way. Multiple ballistic missiles re-entering. Iron is stronger than missiles. Wait, what? I think this guy's making a joke, right? Like he thinks he's missiles can't penetrate iron, bro. You need nukes for that. Okay, he's just joking. Yeah, no, near, by the way, near. Like where you can directly see them hit hangars, runway. Like, yeah, their targeting capabilities used to be significantly worse. They've gotten significantly better if you are aware of this sort of thing. It's still not like 100% accuracy in the same way that like an F-15 flying over a target can strike with 100% accuracy. But what is this? But does Iran even have the capacity, enough ammunition to continuously strike in such a capacity, though? Western media is doubting their stockpiles. It is the Western media's job to fucking do a cleanup job here. So everything that you hear from Western analysts, even if this is like an insane, an immensely unique, unprecedented security flaw for Israel, they will still try to grab onto anything and everything they can to be like, they just suck. They did this last time as well. Okay? Last time Iran retaliated against Israel for the Damascus embassy strike, they literally flexed on them. They were like, you guys are so dumb. See, you couldn't do it. We are so mighty in our defenses. Our enemy is so weak and also strong, but so weak at the same time. This time they did very clearly penetrate the fucking security. I do not know if they actually struck the F-35 fleet that they have. I don't know that at all. I don't know. I haven't seen enough evidence for this. Okay. I have not seen enough evidence for this. But what I do know is they did say that they were going to strike 3 military targets, and they successfully did. Israel, on the other hand, lied and said they intercepted 99% of the targets, but please don't show any footage. It's illegal to show the footage of our beautiful interceptions. Okay. Please understand something very important here, okay? If they can strike inside of the Israeli borders, inside of the Israeli boundaries, all the way from motherfucking Iran, they can hit the buildings too. They can hit civilian populations. They can disrupt regular civilian life in the same way that Israel does to Beirut, in the same way that Israel does to Gaza, okay? Even if like 50% of them hit on target, because Iran is saying 90% success rate. I don't know if it's actually 90%, but it doesn't matter, right? Because even if 10% of them successfully struck targets, if they launch another fucking barrage of 200 missiles, or maybe even more than that next time around, that's still a shit ton of missiles that penetrate the barrier, okay? And if they changed the trajectory or they changed the targets to civilian populations, to civilian areas, they changed the targets to civilian areas. I personally think that, they could kill a shit ton of Israelis. And I think that a government that has at least the basic level of interest in defending their civilian population, their citizens, needs to make note of that, no matter what they say to the outside world. Okay? Iran is about to find out big time, or whatever the fuck you're saying in this regard, is really stupid, because Israel just found out something very important. The only reason why Israel gets to operate like this in the region is because they have the full-throated support of the American government. Okay? And also because they believe their own shit. They believe their own propaganda. They believe that they are truly this excellent military that is centuries more advanced than their barbaric neighbors. This is part of the problem with October 7. This is part of the reason why October 7 happened to begin with. This is new, and I keep telling people that this is new, and people don't see it the way I'm seeing it. I don't know why you don't understand how new this is. Israel has never experienced something like this. It does not matter what they are saying. It does not matter how hard they are coping. This is truly a new era. Okay. Like Yemeni drone strikes and Yemeni hypersonic missiles also striking inside of the boundaries of Israel was already the turn of the century. It was already a change in the way that things used to work. Okay. But like I mean, there's the satellite imagery. History ended. Now we're stuck in a loop. What is the overarching reason for this genocide? Is Netanyahu just straight up evil? Yes, and wants land. Okay. Do they realize how different things are? Will this affect how they act going forward if they aren't as invincible as they thought? I mean, it is entirely dependent on how many people in the government, in the governing coalition, inside of the Israeli Knesset actually recognizes how different this is than prior tit for tat, like back and forth Iranian incursions. Okay. I think there's got to be some people in there that are like, hey, our civilians are going to die if we keep this shit up. Like, even with all of the United States' full support, shooting down Iranian missiles that were coming in, the fact that they were still able to hit inside of the Israeli security, inside of the Israeli anti-missile systems, and penetrate this like seemingly impenetrable Iron Dome is massively consequential for how things go in the future. Okay. And I suspect some people know that. Okay. I suspect some people inside of Israel know that regardless of what they're saying. This is huge. This is a huge change from how things used to be. If you personally thought Iran could never strike Tel Aviv, how the fuck could they do that? We have the best anti-missile defense systems with Jordan intercepting, with American aircraft and American anti-missile systems intercepting in the region, and Saudi intercepting. Like you have British anti-missile systems intercepting. You have all of this. You have this massive amount of surveillance and anti-missile systems working to defend Israel, and they still are able to penetrate this security apparatus and hit targets successfully. This is a new dawn. Okay, it's a new dawn, is a new day. They don't want to recognize that they got hit in the face. They don't want to recognize that they have a bloody nose, because the recognition of a bloody nose would most likely cause some chaos inside of the Israeli consciousness. And you need to present yourself as this like invincible force in the region where there are no repercussions for your regular civilian activities. You can still go to the beaches in Tel Aviv while there's a genocide happening, a couple miles away. And that's the beauty of Israel, right? It's like a Western nation. It no longer feels like a Western nation if this occurs, okay? Similar to the U.S. after 9/11. I mean, worse than that, significantly worse than that, because it's not like Al-Qaeda had the capacity to do 9/11 again, okay? Because of straight up proximity. Do you understand? Like 9/11 was massively consequential and a one-off. 9/11 was not conducted by a state actor that was a regional power with natural resources and an interest in continuing its own fucking existence in the region. 9/11 was conducted by Al-Qaeda, a terror group. So like they don't have the same security concerns. That's why it's different than Hezbollah as well. That's why it's different than Hamas as well. Like non-state actors that are designated as terrorist organizations that still have civilian governance in their in mind are going to have a very different set of expectations and a very different set of rules of engagement. As a matter of fact, that's precisely the reason why Hezbollah and Iran have been significantly more restrained than Israel, because they do not have that same invincibility shield that Israel has. This shows that the playing field is actually more leveled than Israel claims it is. This is a massive change of pace. It's a massive change of attitude. And I suspect that this should cause Israel to be somewhat more restrained in its retaliation. Okay? No. I'm saying, guys, I'm not talking about the terrorism designation. Of course, Al Qaeda is designated as a terror group. Hamas is designated as a terror group. Hezbollah is designated as a terror group. The IRGC, the Iranian state, is designated as a state sponsor of terror groups. I'm not talking about the designation of terrorism, because that is a socio-political construct that is applied to America's enemies. That's not my point here. My point is, fuck all the designations. Look at the difference in which, like, ISIS operates. Look at the difference in which, for example, Al Qaeda operates versus a cell or something that is like designated, an organization that is designated as a terror group with a clear goal and a clear agenda, whether it is emancipation or whether they also have like a shit ton of civilians that they are responsible for in terms of like civil governance. Okay. The Taliban, for example, under the American occupation, did not have the civil governance affairs and responsibilities to the same degree as like Hamas does or as Hezbollah does. The Taliban now does have complete control over Afghanistan, and now the dynamic is very different. So when you become an organized unit of governance, you have a very different set of standards. Like, there are certain things that you can't do, certain things that you can do, depending on how much you can protect your own citizens, depending on how much you care about protecting your own citizens. You recall, in the early months of October, I told you time and time again, the reason why Hezbollah, which as a part of the axis of resistance against Israel and American imperialism in the region, had set clear and well-defined red lines that they actually watched Israel cross with no retaliation. The original red line is, if you invade Gaza for Israel, if they invaded Gaza, that they would also invade Israel. Why didn't they cross that red line? Because Hezbollah was experiencing a tremendous amount of economic struggle as a consequence of the Lebanese economy. They knew how Israel would retaliate. They knew that there was nothing that they knew that they couldn't like just go and fucking invade Israel, basically, if Israel invaded Gaza. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? I hope it's like as clear as possible. Groups that are designated as terror groups, if they are still interested in like civilian governance and civilian affairs, and they actually do demonstrate, like, if they have clear-cut goals that are not like expansionist in general. That's the major difference between ISIS, because someone will say like, well, ISIS has civil governance in mind as well. Like, ISIS tried to do like a healthcare thing, if you recall. They literally stole the NHS logo. It was very funny when I found this out. But ISIS was an expansionist unit, okay? They were like a scourge in the entire area. Yeah, they tried to do ISIS care. But like, ultimately, they cared more about expanding and taking up more territorial control than they did about like legitimately protecting the citizens that are a part of like the regular democratic process. Like Hezbollah, this is important to understand, Hezbollah still is a part of the Lebanese parliament. That's precisely the reason why the pager assassination attack that targeted like both civilian and also military people was an act of terror that America is trying to take advantage of right now, according to Barack Ravid's reporting, where they're trying to now literally implement democracy in Lebanon to take advantage of like all of the fucking Hezbollah MPs that are currently still in the hospital, even though they are literally just straight up fucking Lebanese parliament members. You know what I mean? So it's differentiating internationalist militant groups versus nationalist ones. Al Qaeda, ISIS are distinct from groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Taliban. Yes, exactly. The Taliban is the most like, I think the Taliban is the one that's in between. I would say, like, in comparison to Al Qaeda and ISIS, the Taliban has some aspects of its existence that is similar to an emancipatory movement, even though they are also super fucking fundamentalist, by the way. I'm not even talking about like their domestic affairs here, but like in terms of what they were doing, what they were trying to do was like fight back against the American occupation, but also, so in that regard, there is an emancipatory purpose there, but they also were simultaneously expansionist and could even have designs for other areas across the border, maybe even into Pakistan eventually. So it's different. It's a little bit of both. Well, it's more similar as it sponsors internationalist groups, including Al Qaeda, but also no interest in expansion itself outside of Afghanistan. Same with how Hamas and Hezbollah aren't trying to create a global government like ISIS is. Yeah, like Hamas's designs are simply, regardless of their Islamist fundamentalist perspective or whatever, Hamas's existence is directly a consequence of Israeli occupation and the Israeli apartheid and Israeli genocide, and Hamas has worked alongside all of these other groups that are involved in the liberation of Palestine time and time again. Whereas, why are you ignoring Safari Bari's reasonable question? I can't see it. I don't even know how to click on that. I don't know what happened. And the same with Hezbollah. Hezbollah has its own interests. Hezbollah actually is a little bit different too because they also operate in the region as well. Hamas doesn't. Hamas is just simply operating inside of Gaza. Whereas Hezbollah does operate in the region, in Syria specifically. That gets a little bit more complicated. But in terms of like resisting against, in terms of like its resistance against the Israeli occupation and Israeli incursion, or like purging Israeli troops from its borders, Hezbollah operates in a similar vein to Hamas. How do we get here? What are we talking about? Right. Benjamin Netanyahu is in the pocket of Donald Trump and is going to, one, simultaneously continue using this war to maintain his coalition. Okay. He's also going to continue serving 3-minute ad breaks as well at the top of the hour, straight up. Like, he's going to do it. I'm just letting you guys know. If you didn't think it was going to happen, well, you know, wake up, because it will. It will happen. At the top of the hour, there will be a 3-minute ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, if you want to avoid seeing those ads, well, then all you need to do is subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime is free, folks. Okay? Netanyahu's in the pocket of Hasanabi. Yeah, I agree. I think Hezbollah is a little unique in its structure, being much more integrated into the IRGC than Hamas is. So it often serves Iranian interests as well as local ones, but it's also a national movement as opposed to the global, like ISIS or Al Qaeda, if that makes sense. Also, I think like the way that Al Qaeda and ISIS are treated in the region is different than Hezbollah as well. Unless you're like, I mean, there are definitely differences, like in terms of Syria, for example, or in other regions, in the way that like Hezbollah military operations are seen and analyzed by the local population. But beyond that, like ISIS has no fucking allies, okay? Well, except for America and Israel, and Al Qaeda has no allies except for America and Saudi Arabia. Like, these guys are not. They are viewed broadly by every single person as like a military movement specifically designed to do terror that seemingly suits the purpose of these like regional actors and their designs. Anyway, okay, and will not stop and maybe even escalate tensions in an effort to fuck up the Democratic Party's chances of winning this re-election. If you think that that is a silly reason to like continue doing genocide, I promise you these guys have a very profound understanding of American news, American media, American attitudes, and American politicians, and who gets to run the show. He thinks he can get a better deal from Trump. Okay, that's why he went to Mar-a-Lago. He flew to Mar-a-Lago personally. These things matter. Anyway, yeah, of course. I called it ahead of time. Is there anything preventing the U.S. from jumping in to aid Israel and Lebanon? I feel like if Hezbollah was making significant wins, the U.S. would just jump in. Bro pre-watches history so hard he watches his own clips. Yeah. Now let's get back to Israel. We're going to talk about the media bias as well. But before that, let's watch a statement by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, seemingly very upset after French President Emmanuel Macron has urged a halt to arms deliveries to Israel, which has been criticized over the conduct of its war on Gaza. Where is this coming from? Well, because obviously the French have designs for Lebanon. And those designs get fucked up if Israel also has designs for Lebanon.
I have a message. I have a message for President Macron. Today, Israel is defending itself on 7 fronts against the enemy.
So did ISIS form out of the Mujahideen? Is that what Hassan is talking about? No. Yes and no.
Of civilization. We're fighting in Gaza against Hamas, those savages who murdered, raped, beheaded, and burned our people on October 7th. We're fighting in Lebanon against Hezbollah, the most heavily armed terror organization in the world, which was planning and even...
Why does he have a message for the French in English? Like, why is there no one translating this message to French for the Israeli Prime Minister's office? Do they not have any French translators in Israel? There are plenty of French Israelis that speak French. You know, what the fuck's going on there? What's happening? I hate to be that guy, but I think you forgot to run the ads. Never hate to be that guy. You are correct. I did forget to run the ads. I'm running it now.
Even greater massacre than October 7th on our northern border, and that is rocketed Israeli towns and cities for nearly a year.
Wait, Hezbollah has done an even greater massacre than Hamas did? That's crazy. How many people did they kill? That's wild. I didn't realize they killed 1,200 people, including like 400 military members of the military.
We're fighting against...
apparently they're planning. They were planning it. Yeah, well, so was Hamas, and you didn't really give a shit about that planning, did you?
Houthis in Yemen and the Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria that together have launched hundreds of drones and missile attacks against Israel. We're fighting against terrorists in Judea and Samaria who are trying to murder civilians in the heart of our cities.
That's West Bank. He's saying we're fighting in the West Bank, territory that we illegally occupy, against people who are like, hey man, this is my home. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
And we're fighting against Iran, which last week fired over 200 ballistic missiles directly at Israel, and which stands behind the 7-front war against Israel. As Israel fights the forces of barbarism led by Iran, all civilized countries should be standing firmly by Israel's side. Yet President Macron and some other Western leaders are now calling for an arms embargo against Israel. Shame on them. Is Iran imposing an arms embargo on Hezbollah, on the Houthis, on Hamas, and on its other proxies? Of course not. The axis of terror stands together. But countries who supposedly oppose...
It's so funny. It's so funny when these motherfuckers say the axis of terror stands together. It's like, bro, for everyone with eyes to see, you and America and all of the regional partners are the real axis of terror. Okay? The numbers on the board, these guys don't touch the fucking madness that you conduct in the region. Like the death and the destruction that you engage with in the region. It is so funny to be like, these guys, they are terrorists. They're terror. They're doing terror. It's like, okay, bitch, what are you doing then? Like, is there a different term for what you're doing? Because what you're doing is worse, like significantly worse in terms of the numbers. I don't give a fuck if there's like, in his mind, if there is justification for it, that doesn't mean anything. Do you understand? Like, people are so ridiculous about this. They're like, oh, Hassan, you don't understand. Israel good, Israel's enemies bad. Duh. Oh, okay. Oh shit, dude. Didn't realize that was the way that you were operating, you know? It's like the Nazis shitting on the Japanese. No, man, it's not like the Nazis shitting on the Japanese. It's like the Nazis shitting on the Allied forces, okay? Because he's the fucking Nazi here. Straight up. Straight the fuck up.
Oppose the terror axis, call for an arms embargo on Israel. What a disgrace. Well, let me tell you this. Israel will win with or without their support. But their shame will continue long after the war is won. For in defending ourselves against this barbarism, Israel is defending civilizations against those who seek to impose a dark age of fanaticism on...
Like, he just keeps saying that we're fighting against barbarism. We're fighting against these barbarians. Like, oh my God. It's just like, it's truly demonic Nazi shit. I don't know. I don't know how people still don't see it. Like,
on all of us. Rest assured, Israel will fight until the battle is won, for our sake and for the sake of the peace and security of the entire world.
Israel has expanded its bombardment of Lebanon, striking new areas.
Oh yeah, now they fucking went even northern than Beirut. They're like, yeah, we're bombing the capital, but we're also going to bomb even further up north as well.
It targets members of both Hezbollah and Hamas. While Hezbollah has kept up its attacks on northern Israel, saying it's fired rockets at an airbase near the city of Haifa. In southern Lebanon, the Israel Defense Forces say they hit a Hezbollah command center overnight, located in a mosque adjacent to the Salah Gundur hospital. For the first time in this conflict, Israel has hit Tripoli in northern.
Like, look, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing, bro? What are we fucking doing? Yeah, striking a mosque, striking a hospital. They struck an orphanage and a hospital at the same time in Gaza, by the way, which, by the way, is such a normal part of the process at this point that, like, it's not even newsworthy.
Northern Lebanon, reportedly killing an official from Hamas's military wing, his wife and 2 young daughters in a drone strike. And Israel has continued to strike the Lebanese capital here, Beirut. Its military issued warnings for residents in 3 southern suburbs near the airport to evacuate buildings around Hezbollah facilities. Alex Thompson reports on the day's events.
They're still doing this, by the way. They're still doing propaganda. They're like, oh, it's the Hezbollah facilities. Hezbollah facilities. Oh, shit, dude. Oh, well, sorry, the hospital was in the way, you know. Great stuff.
There's a strategy in Lebanon. From air and sea, Beirut pounded again overnight. By day, civilian jets still fly in and out against the bombing of the city's southern suburbs. Israel talks about pinpoint strikes. The Lebanese health ministry says more than 2,000 people have been killed so far across the country, including 127.
Yeah, they're double tapping healthcare workers. Healthcare continues to come under attack. In Lebanon alone, 28 health workers have been killed in the last 24 hours, says World Health Organization Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus during a press briefing in Geneva on Wednesday.
More than 1,600 people have been killed and more than 1 million.
Bro, okay, October 7 numbers. We've passed it. We've fucking passed it. We passed October 7 numbers. Hezbollah, by Israel's own design, has the right to defend itself, okay? Significantly larger civilian deaths, by the way, in comparison to October 7. October 7, 400 military were killed, 800 civilians were killed, some of which were killed by Israeli, the Israeli security forces anyway. But regardless, let's say all 800 are killed by Hamas and the Palestinian Resistance Force. Israel's done genocide in Gaza. Does this mean that Hezbollah and the Lebanese forces have a right to defend themselves? Do they have a right to defend themselves? Can they now do genocide in Israel? Of course not. Of course not. I don't think that is right anyway. I'm not saying that at all. But just understand, if there was if the morality was evened out, that is how this situation would be analyzed.
Displaced, including 350,000 now living in shelters and 160,000 who have crossed the border into the Syrian Arab Republic. Healthcare continues to come under attack. In Lebanon alone, 28 health workers have been killed.
It's so funny that people still like grab on to the only counter to all of this shit, like the glaringly obvious realities. The only counter to any of this is to basically just go, la la la, can't hear you. Hassan supports terrorists. That's it. Like, you have no answer for this. You have no way of being able to justify this. So you just go, nah, they're terrorists. They're barbaric. They're terrorists. Like, you just repeat what fucking Benjamin Netanyahu is saying, and that's it.
In the last 24 hours, many health workers are not reporting to duty as they fled the areas where they work due to bombardments. This is severely limiting the provision of mass trauma management and continuity of health services. We had planned to deliver a large shipment of trauma and medical supplies tomorrow to Lebanon. Unfortunately, this has not been possible due to the almost complete closure of Beirut's airport. WHO calls on all partners to facilitate flights to deliver much-needed life-saving supplies to Lebanon.
Why are we supporting Israel? What do you mean? I'm not supporting Israel. Israel can suck my dick. Oh, has anyone ever asked any of the State Department Press Secretary ghouls to define the word terrorist? I mean, I'm sure there's a way that they can dance around it. It doesn't matter. They literally dance around all the death and destruction that they fund and facilitate on a daily fucking basis. They don't give a shit. They literally are operating on the same boundaries that Israel's operating on, which is that these are the bad guys, Israel's the good guys. It's that simple.
Children, 261 women.
They call the World Health Organization Hamas because the elected president of World Health Organization Executive Board is a Qatari woman. Oh, nice. Qatar elected as president of World Health Organization Executive Board. Hanan Mohammed Al-Kuwari. Well, there you go. You can't trust them. Arabs are of one mind, famously, according to famous Israeli scholar Benny Morris.
4 major hospitals and 32 medical centres in Beirut and across the country completely out of service now due to Israeli strikes. Israel claims Hezbollah fighters were using them for positions. Overnight, Israel claimed to have killed a Hamas commander, Saeed Atallah, his wife and 2 daughters in the coastal city of Tripoli in northern Lebanon. Defiance against Israel on the ground.
Say that this resistance will continue. This is the path for martyrs. This is an enemy who commits criminal acts against our people.
His death independently confirmed this afternoon. And then, of course, the funeral, the full guard of honour, along with the 2 children. All this as Hezbollah fired rockets towards the northern Israeli port of Haifa. Also in northern Israel, wildfires started by incoming Hezbollah fire. Global diplomacy apparently incapable of stopping Iran and Israel's march towards the war neither wants.
Yeah, Iran has been on a fucking charm offensive too in the region. Straight up, like the Iranian president after the fucking Israeli, after the retaliation on Israel that Israel claims hit no targets, even though they very obviously did. Iran went to all of the Gulf region, like Abraham Accords recipient nation states, and was like, listen, you don't want the smoke. And they were like, yeah, you're right. We don't actually want the smoke. As a matter of fact, we'll see ourselves out of this equation. Now, I don't know how far you can, I don't know how you can trust that. Yes, it is Bashar al-Assad. Chat. Something you need to understand is this. When I say, oh, these regional actors don't want the smoke, I don't mean that like Iran's military might and capabilities is like the same as America. Okay? What I mean is they have oil refineries that are directly within the line of fire of Iranian missile systems. It's that simple. Think about it like mutually assured destruction, but this time for oil. Okay, that's it. It's literally that simple. They're like, look. China brought Iran and Saudi Arabia to the table over the UAE and Saudi Arabia's conduct that led to a genocide in Yemen. Okay, why did China do this? Because they need the oil as well. Why did Saudi Arabia come to the table? Because they also like their oil refineries. Okay? If Iran strikes, or if the Houthis or Iran strikes oil refineries in Saudi Arabia, that's not good for anybody. Okay? And that is something that happened before October 7, mind you. Okay? It's a massive amount of leverage that Iran has as a regional actor. So for them, they're like, okay, yeah, we have a security cooperation with the United States of America. We use their weapons, but also we don't want you blowing up our fucking oil refineries. Because if you blow up our oil refineries, then, our economy is cooked and the entire global marketplace falls apart. This is a reality that I'm sure Americans are also aware of. There's no way that they're that stupid. Okay?
Foreign Minister in Syria today after Lebanon yesterday, touring countries on the receiving end of Israeli missiles. His own braced now for Israel's response to this week's salvo of Iranian ballistic missiles. Both sides ban independent media from the fighting zone, but all the while on the ground, Israel's, quote, limited incursion looks ever more like unlimited invasion in scope and scale.
Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe that their limited incursion is actually an unlimited invasion. Shocking.
Not only the Lebanese getting out, another...
You are severely underestimating the idiocy of the general American populace. No, man, I'm just looking at the American government as a capitalist institution, a capitalist instrument that obviously benefits, especially key sectors benefit from permanent death and destruction in the Middle East, but only to a certain degree. Once oil refineries catch on fucking fire, nobody benefits from that. The entire economy, the entire global economy runs on the petrodollar. It collapses everything. Okay? It's kind of like the Trump equation. Okay? A lot of business owners like Donald Trump, but a lot of business owners are also afraid of Donald Trump. Why are they afraid of Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump spells instability. Too much instability, like a certain amount of instability and deregulation and everything else is great, right? It's great for businesses. But too much of that can also spell trouble because the market needs stability, okay? The market benefits from a certain level of chaos, but there also needs to be some level of stability. Too much volatility is not good. This sums it up pretty well. School illegal in the U.S. The answer is yes. Now, Israel is going to retaliate to Iran. Israel has said they're going to retaliate to Iran in a decapitating strike against the Iranian leadership. Now, if they did that, that would be devastating. That would be devastating for the region. Israel also has said they would retaliate against Iranian nuclear plants that are a part of their energy grid or Iranian oil refineries. Iran has said, if Israel retaliates at all, we will respond in kind. If Israel specifically retaliates against their energy grid, they will respond in kind. If Israel retaliates against their oil refineries, they will light the entire region's oil refineries on fire. Okay? It is what I'm talking about when I say mutually assured destruction. That's it. That basically is at that point, it's just like complete collapse of the global
British evacuation flight, the last scheduled to leave Beirut tomorrow, along with a host of other countries doing this in recent days. All remaining foreigners advised to contact their embassies.
Yeah, I suspect that the reason why it's taken so long for the Israeli response is because they are, I think, worried about the actual repercussions, the actual consequences, for the record. What can Iran hit in Israel, though? The SodaStream factory? No, there's plenty of fucking things that they can hit inside of Israel. It's more so if they choose to now strike more civilian targets. Are refineries really any more vulnerable than Tel Aviv? Dog, understand that no government actually cares about like their own civilians, okay? No state actor is like all that concerned about their civilians. They do care about one thing and one thing only, and that is making sure that oil refineries don't all collectively catch on fire that would destroy the global economy. Okay? Night. How is Iran? Oh, this is a good reporting on how hitting oil refineries will, what is this? Will affect the world economy.
Iran attacked Israel on Tuesday night with about 200 missiles. They managed to hit a few military bases and the Mossad headquarters. There were no Israeli casualties. One Palestinian died. But that doesn't mean that all is forgiven and forgotten.
First
Take
pose.
it from Benjamin Netanyahu.
Okay.
Israel is figuring out what to strike, where to strike. There are a number of potential targets: nuclear, oil, military facilities in Iran. Let's look at them one by one. First, there's Iran's nuclear program. Now, Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. It was work in progress. But officially, Tehran stopped developing nukes in the year 2003, or rather, they paused their efforts. That's what they say. But they still have nuclear facilities all over the country. As you can see on this map, Iran can make weapons-grade nuclear material. It can enrich uranium at some of these sites, and these facilities are in use, despite the nuclear pause. Tehran hasn't gone all the way yet, but it keeps nuclear material production on the precipice. so that if anything major happens, it can rapidly complete a nuclear weapon or two. All of Iran's enemies know this. Israel knows it, the US knows it, and everyone else does.
Yeah, I don't know about this shit, but when is she going to talk about the fucking mutually assured destruction of... Is this Iranian TV? No, dog. Is like a right-wing Indian newspaper.
I think there's things we'll be discussing.
Yeah, is India's Fox News, right?
The Israelis, what they're going to do. But all 7 of us agree that they have a right to respond, but they should respond in proportion.
She's the Dana Bush of India. Dana Bush.
Some of Iran's nuclear sites are protected, deep underground. It would be almost impossible to blow them up. So if Israel manages to blow up one nuclear facility, Iran can ramp up production at another and develop a working nuclear bomb in a matter of days.
Okay, this part is the least significant part in this story. This is the least significant part of the story, okay? Especially because, like, who cares if they have a nuke or not? I don't give a shit. Okay, because with the current conventional means that they have at their disposal, they can still blow up oil refineries. Are they going to talk about that or not?
That is why Joe Biden doesn't want Israel to go after Iran's nuclear sites, because that is an all or nothing gamble. If even one site is still functional, then Iran will become the world's next nuclear power. That is why Israel probably won't target Iran's nuclear facilities, at least not seriously. But they could conduct a symbolic strike at one of the smaller facilities, just to show Iran that Israel can attack their nuclear sites. And this was suggested.
Dog, we know Israel can attack their nuclear sites. Israel has the capacity to attack anywhere and everywhere around the planet, okay? It's just like, we know that already. I think that's an expectation. That's precisely the reason why the Iranian nuclear facilities are deep underground, specifically without outside of the reach of, like, conventional bunker buster bombs even. Okay? Like, I think people know that. People understand that. People have geared their defenses against that. Right? The real question is, why are you watching Garb Time? Someone linked it to me.
By a former Israeli prime minister. His name is Ehud Barak. He said this was a possibility, and it won't be a first. Israel did something similar in April. After Iran launched its first missile barrage in April this year, Israel responded by attacking an Iranian facility near the city of Isfahan. The attack was close to an Iranian nuclear site, even though it wasn't directly targeted.
The point I'm trying to make here is that it doesn't matter. Iran could be moments away from developing a nuclear weapon. Iran could have a nuclear weapon. That part is completely inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, because the current weapons that they do have, that we know they have, are capable of striking oil refineries, which would be, I would just go so far as say, almost as devastating as a fucking nuke.
Israel basically let them off with a warning, a symbolic show. So a direct but limited attack at a nuclear plant could be an option, at least according to Israel's former prime minister, even though it is risky. But Netanyahu has other options too, including going back to the basics. Israel could just target military facilities, airfields, drone bases, missile silos. It could even go after production facilities, target Iran's drone and missile factories. It isn't flashy, it isn't extremely sophisticated, but it will send the message. And technically, this is the only thing allowed according to the standard rules of war. But Israel hasn't really been playing by any rules lately. Netanyahu doesn't care about what he hits, as long as it does serious damage. And what will really hurt Iran is going after its pocket.
Would you support Israel striking Iran's oil facilities, sir?
We're in discussion of that. I think that would be a little, anyway.
That looks like another Biden blooper. He revealed that Israel is thinking about attacking Iran's oil facilities. Biden said discussions are ongoing. Is the U.S. discussing this internally? Are they holding discussions with Israel? Biden did not confirm, but it seems that attacks on Iranian oil are a possibility. So let's turn to the map again.
I want to point to something here, okay? The Modi supporting right-wing Indian news anchor lady saying a Biden blooper, okay, is once again a hilarious demonstration of the one thing that Biden ran against Trump on successfully, which was that he would restore the confidence in our international allies and cooperators as like and restore America's role as like the global hegemonic power that is the world police. And Biden has failed on that so spectacularly. Like every single person that is inside of the periphery, inside of the sphere of influence of the United States of America, basically has recognized that this old man is getting dog walked by Benjamin Netanyahu, at least like in the way that it is interpreted. These events are interpreted by everyone else, where it is hilarious to watch the guy who was supposed to, you know, unlike Donald Trump, bring about stability to a chaotic reign. And now everyone sees him as a fucking old man who's asleep at the wheel, who's getting dog walked by Benjamin Netanyahu, who does whatever the fuck he wants. And when Biden says like, oh, this is a target this is a red line that we don't want Netanyahu to cross, Netanyahu crosses it anyway. They literally see Biden's threats to Benjamin Netanyahu, or Biden's red lines that Benjamin Netanyahu, as a promise. I mean, which is a correct interpretation, of course, a correct interpretation of events, but pretty funny overall to think that it's coming from the administration that was supposed to rebuild America's squandered reputation that Donald Trump destroyed at the global stage. Really cool and really funny to experience, in my opinion. He did it. He did NATO.
Iran is an oil-rich nation. It has drilling facilities, refineries, and export terminals everywhere. But the sites you're seeing are only the major ones. Israel's most obvious target would be the Kurg oil terminal. It's on an island in the Persian Gulf, removed from the Iranian mainland. But more importantly, it's Tehran's biggest export hub by far. The Kurg oil terminal handles more than 90% of Iran's exports. That's millions of barrels every day being converted into essential funds to keep Iran's regime afloat. If this export stops, Iran gets hammered economically. But this will also have a domino effect. Iran mostly sells oil to China.
This is the part.
If Tehran is forced to stop, Beijing will look elsewhere, causing prices to surge. And Joe Biden won't like that because oil prices are a sensitive topic this close to US elections. So Biden may try and stop Netanyahu from hitting the Kurg oil terminal, but there are other oil facilities as well, like the Abadan refinery near Iran's border with Iraq. This is a domestic facility, so if Israel attacks it, global prices may still remain stable, and Netanyahu will have his revenge. It's cynical because ordinary people will bear the brunt, but Israel may still consider it an option. There are other facilities too, of course, like the Kish and Keshm Islands near the Strait of Hormuz. These are smaller export hubs, so attacking them...
Your news coverage is garbo compared to this. I know, that's why I'm watching this. Regardless of this channel's like overarching views or whatever, this is the reason why the chatter sent it to me, because like it's making a cold and calculated assessment of events that I think is good.
Would just be symbolic. But will that be enough for Prime Minister Netanyahu? As you can see, there are a lot of factors for Israel to consider, and it will take action after thinking things through, hopefully. It's a tense situation because their next move has the potential to push West Asia over the edge and plunge the world into chaos. We are hoping it doesn't come to that. Global oil markets and global markets in general are feeling the pressure of all of this. Investors are rattled. There was a sell-off in the Indian stock markets. Both the Nifty and the Sensex were down.
Yeah, so just buckle up for that. All right, let's get back to Israel doing Israel shit in Lebanon, though.
And Alex joins us live now from Jerusalem. Alex, it's being reported that the Israeli military is preparing its attack on Iran, but it's a question of what and when.
Well, indeed it is. It's been reported, but nothing completely firm on that. Overnight, Joe Biden, the US president, again warned Israel against the high numbers of civilian casualties. Clearly the White House consider those unacceptably high, not just in Gaza, but now, of course, in Lebanon as well. And over the last few days, there's not exactly been a war of words, but cool exchanges between the White House and the Israelis. A couple of days ago, Joe Biden pretty much telling Israel not to attack Iranian oil installations in reprisals for that Iranian missile attack this week into Israel. No response from Israel on that. Overnight, he said, well, if I was Israel, I wouldn't attack oil installations either. Again, nothing, no promises from Israel on that. It is...
Guys, when America invaded Iraq, they blew everything up, with one exception. The Iraqi Ministry of Energy, okay? That's it. That's all you need to know about how things work, okay? You don't touch, you don't fuck up the bag, especially when your enemy has the capacity to do the same to you. This is the calculation. That's it. That's the calculation here for America, is that if Iran fucking lights oil refineries on fire, you will destabilize the entire marketplace, the entirety of the global market. We can't have that. That's not good. And that's been a threat since day one, mind you, which is why I think it's so ridiculous that Biden hasn't packed up Benjamin Netanyahu already. I've been saying this for months.
Considered imminent. We watch and we wait.
Well, here with me now is our foreign affairs correspondent, Secunda Kamani, who has just returned to Beirut from southern Lebanon.
Well, Chris, we've been hearing today further strikes, yet further strikes again in Beirut, again concentrated in the south of the city. It seems that Israel is deliberately trying to prevent rescue workers reaching the site where they targeted Hashim Safieddine, the man tipped to be Hezbollah's new leader. Still no official confirmation as to whether or not he was killed, but reports suggest that he has been out of contact with the rest of Hezbollah ever since those very powerful strikes on Thursday night. Now, as you say, we drove up from the southern city of Tyre earlier today, passing by towns and villages that Israel has ordered to evacuate. Certainly, they all looked very empty to us, and that's why there's such mounting concern about the displacement crisis here.
And what's going on the border itself?
Well, a little hard to tell. The Israeli military say that they've killed 400 Hezbollah operatives since their ground incursion began. Hezbollah, for their part, say they've resisted once again an Israeli incursion attempt at around the village of Edessa. Certainly, we're not seeing Israeli forces sweep through southern Lebanon. Is that because they're concentrating their efforts just right on the border? Is it because they're encountering more pushback from Hezbollah than they anticipated? The Israeli military and military officials have been telling reporters in Israel that they want to try and wrap up the operation as soon as possible, potentially even within a number of weeks. One Western official I was speaking to today, though, expressing fears that we're just at the start of an open-ended conflict.
Thanks, Secunda. Well, in the last few minutes, the Israeli military spokesperson hasn't shed any light on when there will be strikes, saying their response to Iran will come at a time Israel decides best. Well, joining me live now from Tel Aviv is Miri Eisen, who's a retired colonel in the Israel Defense Forces. She worked with Prime Minister Ehud Olmert during the last Lebanon war in 2006 and is now a fellow at the International Institute for Counter-Terrorism. From the Israeli point of view, how is the invasion of southern Lebanon going? And does it seem credible to you that it could all be wrapped up within a matter of weeks?
It's funny how when I listen to the way you describe it as the invasion and then as it's going to go on, and Israel from the beginning had very specific targets in going into the small area of southern Lebanon that they chose to.
Yeah, no, total. It's just a small military operation. Shut the fuck up calling it an invasion, dude. We've killed 1,600 people in bombing campaigns so far. It's a special military operation. It's a targeted special military operation, duh, to denazify Lebanon.
To go in, and that was to both uncover, destroy, expose the Radwan forces, cache of weapons that are right on the other side of the border. The IDF spokesperson right now, part of what he put out is some of those tunnels that lead directly from Lebanese territory into Israel. They were waiting to do an October 7 type attack. That's what the IDF forces are trying to destroy.
Right, and so...
God, Monday is going to be fucking unbearable. So fucking unbearable. Why? It's October 7, dude. It'll mark the 1 year of Israel's genocide of Gaza and of Palestinians. Dude, if you think that the fucking constant calls of October 7 are very annoying at this point, holy shit, dude. Like, Israel's been pointing to October 7 to genocide the entirety of the Gazan fucking population for the past 12 months. Oh my God. I'm sure they have a mass press blast ready to go.
Do you think it could be done in a matter of weeks?
Absolutely. I also think it's something where you go in and you go out, and that when we put the Hezbollah statements and what Hezbollah says on the same legitimacy level as what the IDF say at the end, with all of our flaws, and we have many, we are a Western democracy, and when we send out statements, certainly when it comes into what's going on, it's our soldiers who are fighting, it's our Israelis who are not inside their towns and villages, and we have been very clear on what's going on there. Hezbollah has attacked us every single day since October 8th. They joined in then. The Radwan forces are deployed in the south of Lebanon, and they have way more strength than what the Nukhba forces that did the horrific attack of October 7th ever had. So I look at what the IDF is doing. I most definitely see the locality of what they're doing. You come stand on the border. It's a kilometer from the border, a kilometer and a half. There are attacks further north because Hezbollah fighters are both trying to go north and they're trying to reinforce their own forces. It's on the double way, and that would be, to me, part of why Israel is telling villagers to go north. It's about saving their lives. I have nothing good to say about war in general, but to try to help uninvolved civilians save their lives.
You're literally an IDF military person.
Now, let's turn to the impending attack on Iran. Obviously, there are many things being said by Western leaders about what Israel should or shouldn't attack. Joe Biden sort of suggesting it shouldn't be nuclear facilities, it shouldn't be oil installations. Donald Trump saying take out the nuclear installations first. I mean, how are these sorts of sentiments received in Israel? What do people in Israel want?
So we're on a Saturday night. We're at the end of a long Jewish holiday. It's our New Year. We've all been in the Jewish holiday from Wednesday evening, and this is after the Tuesday night attack direct from Iran. So we're sitting here in that sense, looking around and saying,
what will happen if they kill the Iranian leader is a question that someone asked. A lot of people here think that the Iranian population across the board despises the leadership, which many do for good reason. Okay. And even if they do hate the Iranian leadership, they still also would absolutely treat an Israeli assassination of the Iranian leadership as a direct foreign military operation, which is what it is. Okay. And it would only reaffirm the support for whatever the Iranian leadership looks like after this decapitation. It would be an act of war. It would galvanize the most reactionary elements of Iranian society. It's the same principle behind the Ansar Allah administration. The greatest gift for the Houthis in Yemen was Israel's genocide of Gaza. If you want to look at it in like cold and calculated terms without like thinking about the morality of it all, if you were like a hater of the Houthis or Ansar Allah, which many people were inside of Yemen, right? They all basically unified under the Ansar Allah banner in the aftermath of Israel's genocide of the Palestinians. These are people who have experienced genocide themselves by Western forces. So when the leadership structure was like, we're going to do everything in our fucking power to resist American imperialism, resist Israeli imperialism, and we're going to shut down the fucking Red Sea, okay? Obviously, when that fucking happens, people are going to be like, yeah, no, these guys are doing the right thing. And beyond that, obviously, there's still plenty of like real popular support for the Ayatollah as well. I know this from the greatest comparison I can make here is Turkey. Recep Tayyip Erdogan became profoundly popular. He's always retained like at least 51% support throughout most of his reign. Now that is going away in the last couple of years due to hyperinflation in the country and whatnot. But in the aftermath of the coup that happened in Turkey, the failed coup that happened in Turkey, he was able to put together a referendum and change the constitution of the country, implement martial law, and plenty of people were on his side because all of a sudden, people were like, okay, this is an outside force that is like trying to fucking change our affairs. This is not something that Americans can ever understand because at most, the only thing you fucking experience is like Russia buying like $2 million worth of Facebook ads or some shit. You don't really see it. Whenever a much larger force interferes in the affairs of a foreign nation in a devastating manner, especially one that leads to like death of the civilian population, if that force already has like a decent amount of popularity within the population, more and more people end up subscribing to the leadership structure, even if they were previously in disagreement with said leadership, even if they were previously fighting against the leadership. Does that make sense? I guess you could see that with like George W. Bush post 9/11. So to answer your question, if Israel was to successfully kill like a bunch of the Iranian leadership structure, there would definitely be a point of chaos. There would definitely be chaos immediately because there's plenty of people that are genuinely and understandably resentful towards the current leadership in Iran. They would probably put down those protests in unimaginably violent ways, and then they would move forward with their destruction campaign against Israel.
We are in a multi-front war, but we've been there, sir, for many, many months, almost from October 7th. The Yemen Houthis joined in. The Iraqi Shiites have fired at us. The Shiites in Syria, let alone Hezbollah from day one, Hamas, and of course, Iran. So when we talk about the response, it's understanding that we are in a multi-front war, but the one that's behind all of the weaponry, the UAVs, the suicide drones, the ICBMs, the cruise missiles, all of those come from the Islamic regime of Iran. So I think we all expect an attack. We don't say not. The Islamic regime of Iran, Khamenei, this Friday stood and both praised the October 7th attack of Hamas. And when we talk about the different why...
Oh, I can't believe they did that. That's crazy.
They're all in it together. What they all, I want to say, have in common, to me it's such a horrible thing, have in common is that they want to destroy, annihilate the state of Israel, and they physically are trying to do so. So I do expect a response. Israelis do expect a response, but I have no idea what that would be.
Miri Eisman, thank you very much. Well, earlier I spoke to the Shadow Security Minister, Tom Tugendhat, in the UK, one of the 4 remaining Conservative leadership contenders who worked here in Beirut for a while before joining the army and serving in both Afghanistan and Iraq. I asked him, with Israel warning that its counterattack on Iran is imminent, what should Britain's message to Israel be?
Well, look, we need to be offering leadership in the region, and that's why we need to be asking British citizens to leave as soon as possible and offering leadership in the region to make sure that Israel's response is proportionate and targeted.
What does proportionate and targeted mean? Does that mean avoiding the nuclear sites, avoiding the oil installation?
Bro, they're so Americucked. Like, that's a carbon copy. Dude, England is not a real country, bro. I'm sorry. The most Americucked nation. Holy fuck, dude. Yes, we must listen to reason, which is why we are trying to get our citizens away from the line of fire. Fire coming from Israel, our ally that we're giving weapons to. That's right. This is what good leadership looks like. Very nice.
Well, what it means is making sure that they're targeting those areas that enable Iran to conduct this violent aggression against Israel and actually against other countries in the region. I mean, let's not forget that Iran hasn't just brought or tried to bring death to Israel. They have actually, through Lebanese Hezbollah, through their proxies in Bashar al-Assad.
I just don't get it. Why didn't they This streamer isn't very smart. No good takes, just unintelligent remarks. Buckle in, chatter. Here's one intelligent take for you. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and you should probably subscribe right now for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account to avoid the 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get gifted a sub as well. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Also, follow up to that, I would love for you to specifically point out exactly what you disagree with instead of saying, this streamer isn't very smart, no good takes, just unintelligent remarks. That would be great. I would love to have a productive dialogue with you, my friend.
Assad's government in Syria and their proxies in Iraq. They have murdered quite literally hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of Sunni Muslims across the region.
So it is in British interest that this war does not grow and become a full-scale regional conflict.
That's absolutely right. It is in our interest to make sure that this is as controlled, as proportionate as possible. But let's be clear, the Israeli government has the right to protect its citizens. The Jordanian government has the right to protect its citizens. And others have the right to take action against these non-state actors. Look, the Lebanese armed forces moved quickly in the last few days to disarm and expel Lebanese Hezbollah from various areas, including areas like the airport, where they have formerly had control.
Of course, all of this goes back to Gaza. Should Britain be more vocal in expressing its concern over alleged war crimes in Gaza?
Britain should be doing everything that we can to protect and support the Palestinian people. And one of the things that we need to be doing is pushing for the two-state solution. Look, all of this relies on the respect for...
It's so cool that every single mouthpiece of like the American state or Western states is repeating the same fucking bullshit. Yeah. Trying to divide Muslims, by the way, Shia and Sunni. This is the latest instruction from Hasanabi. No Muslim gives this shit. Like, straight up. I don't even think the fucking Saudis care that much. Like, at this point, outside of like, you know, people in positions of power, and even then, like the pro-Israel sentiment is like diminishing. No one cares. First of all, Hamas is fucking Sunni. They are at the heart of this. Palestinians are Sunni. Nobody gives a fuck. Only Westerners like talk about it on these terms. No one cares. Chatters, please stop. But the Shia and Sunni are already divided, not united. Okay? No, there is no like, I wouldn't say that there is like a monolithic attitude towards anything in the entirety of the Muslim world, which ends across multiple continents and is, you know, billions of people. But even in the fucking region, it's like the Houthis are a great example. They're fucking Shia. El Hassan take. Okay. Like a lot of old traditionals give a shit about the Sunni and Shia. No, dude. The Houthis are fucking Shia and literally one of the most popular fucking groups in the entire region now. It does not fucking matter. When it comes to Israel, it does not matter.
Of course, the Israeli community, but also the Palestinian community. But what Hamas did in Gaza was utterly criminal. It was utterly vile. And I don't just mean on October the 7th, a year ago, almost a year ago today, but actually what they did over the months and years before that. Hamas murdered many Palestinians to take control of Gaza.
Just finally, I mean, as you know, as these wars grow and go on, there is a tendency among...
Dude, what is your takeaway from this? If not, only Israel gets to murder Palestinians, no one else. Angloid animal is right. Like this is his response to the Israeli war crimes, is that, well, Hamas has killed Palestinians too. Are you fucking complaining that Hamas is kill stealing? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
A lot of people back home to look away and to say, look, this is the Middle East. It's the Middle East doing what the Middle East does. What is your message to people at home about why this matters to them?
I mean, this kind of attitude was, I guess, like really silly if you were knowledgeable on the matter even after October 7. But like, plenty of people weren't knowledgeable after October 7, so like they kind of got duped by this kind of sentiment. But like, it's been 12 months, dude. 12 months of straight up hell. 12 months of death and destruction. Like, I don't think anybody believes that at this point. Oh, Israel is trying to liberate Palestinians from Hamas. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. If you still believe that at this point, you just are, I mean, you don't care. Like, you just, I don't think anyone that advances that argument is advancing it with sincerity. That's it.
Well, look, Krishnan, I started my career as a journalist in Beirut. I was a journalist there from 97 to 99, and I was covering various elements of the wars in the south of Lebanon. And one of the things that struck me then and still strikes me today is that it's not foreign. It's not that far away. The reality is that the energy price spikes that happen when there's conflict in the Middle East affect us at home. And when we see rises in non-state actors like Lebanese Hezbollah, we see very often the threat of terrorism in the United Kingdom increase. And I can tell you as security minister that we were extremely conscious of the cooperation that we needed with our partners in the Middle East in order to keep the British people safe. So I'm afraid we may wish it away, but the reality is that we are fundamentally connected, and we need to be leading in the conversations, and the security conversations in particular, to keep ourselves safe. And that's exactly what the UK's position should be, because we should be standing with our allies and stopping these terror groups from getting any more oxygen or power or support from vile dictatorships like the Iranian regime that they've had for 40 years.
Of course, he's fucking admitting that the only thing he cares about is like low oil prices. I respect the honesty. Good. What is this? Al Jazeera breaking? Urgent. Israeli Broadcasting Authority. About a quarter of Israelis said they thought about leaving the country during the past year. Good. Good. Strikes in Beirut suburbs now. Like, the thing is, this is good because this completely, like, diminishes the Zionist project. That's it. If you don't have enough people to fucking build additional settlements, you no longer can do a Zionist project. You don't have, like, it don't matter how many fucking Russians you give Israeli citizenship to. Only the most hardcore will remain. Yeah, I know. The most hardcore also don't know how to fucking read, dog. It's fine. Israel is bouldering towards becoming the fucking the rabid ultra nationalist, ultra Zionist, the ultra orthodox state that it was. It has been able to successfully make it seem like it's an outside element, but once everyone is the hawk to a Rastafari and inbred dudes that you see, people are going to be like, yeah, I don't think this is tenable. I don't think this is manageable. We should probably not align with them in the same way. It destroys their economy. This is why academic divestment matters. Okay. Academic boycotts, academic divestments, like, they play a massive role in the soft power capabilities of Israel. That soft power pays dividends back to Israel. When you're wondering, like, why the fuck are there so many people who are just so unconditionally pro-Israel in American media or in all of these institutions? Like, why are there so many people? It's because Israel for years and years and years has created this ecosystem where they have a lot of the pro-Israeli sentiment baked into these institutions. When you literally sever that tie, all of a sudden, it's much easier for people to look at a bunch of inbred ultra orthodox dudes trying to fucking run over the Lebanese border to go and build a settlement and getting fucking quick scoped by some Hezbollah dude. When that becomes the entirety of the Israeli nation state, it's impossible for them to maintain this posture that they're, like, you know, simultaneously a Western facing nation that is directly trying to fight back against the barbarism of Islam. They are susceptible to brain drain just like any other country is.
Get to hear from Elon Musk as well.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe before, during, or after the
president.
1 month to go before Americans choose a new president. There are 31 days until Election Day, and today both candidates are zeroing in on the 2 states that might decide the outcome of the presidential contest. Vice President Kamala Harris will be in North Carolina, a state battered by Hurricane Helene 1 week ago. She will update the progress on federal relief efforts there. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump returns for the first time to Butler, Pennsylvania, where 12 weeks ago, a would-be assassin opened fire during one of Trump's rallies. Security is being tightened for...
Bro, that's crazy. Dude, that was 12 weeks ago. What is time? It straight up feels like it happened multiple lifetimes ago. That's insane. Like, the passage of time is completely bricked for me. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's because I do the same thing every day over and over again, constantly repeating it. I don't know if I'm alone in this. Like, the month of September passed, I felt like I sneezed and it was like the month of September ended and we're already 5 days into October. It don't make no goddamn sense. I wonder if there are people tuning into this rally to see if there's another Ryan Ruth style situation that might happen.
Instead, you have seen this increase in fighting occur there, and these images that you've seen play out could certainly be part of that as well. But President Biden, over the past few days, has really been focused on what the Israeli response to Iran's barrage of missile attacks that they had fired off against the country a bit earlier this week. While the president himself has not spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu since August, senior administration officials have been in constant contact with their Israeli counterparts as they are gaming out the next steps of how they will respond. The U.S. has said that they believe that Iran should face consequences for its actions, but behind the scenes they are also trying to advise and counsel Israel with exactly how they should proceed. The ultimate hope here is that there could be a more measured response from Israel, but administration officials don't deny the fact that they do believe Israel will respond at some point in time. Now, President Biden himself, when you're specifically talking about Israel and Iran, has said that he does not believe that Israel should target Iran's nuclear facilities. He also, a bit earlier in the week, had left the door open to the possibility that Israel could target Iran's oil reserves. But then just yesterday, as he spoke at the White House press briefing room, he said that he does believe they should consider alternative options and not go after any oil fields. It really presents some of the complicated dynamics that the administration is grappling with in this moment. Now, even as the president has said that he doesn't believe that Israel should target Iran's nuclear facilities, a senior State Department official said that they haven't received any assurances yet from Israel that they won't go down that route. There's still also a lot of questions about when exactly Israel would make its decision to respond to Iran and when they might decide to actually enact that and move forward with it. One senior State Department official is saying it's hard to tell whether they might try to use this October 7th anniversary that's approaching on Monday when Hamas had attacked Israel, try to use that as a potential time to retaliate. But the president has said he does not believe any action is happening in the immediate future. But really at this moment, you're seeing the administration grapple with this conflict on multiple fronts. Biden has spent the last year trying to find a diplomatic solution to try to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, trying to get to some type of ceasefire. Then you have them now dealing with this conflict between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, and then potentially another broader conflict between Israel and Iran, really speaking to the very complicated challenges Biden is facing in this moment as they are
Guys, he's been working tirelessly. Duh, obviously. He's just the worst piece of shit. Which is it? Either you have been working tirelessly around the clock. Okay. Either you have been working tirelessly around the fucking clock and you're the worst guy of all time at doing this shit, or you haven't been working tirelessly around the clock and you kind of like that Israel's doing this stuff. I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. If I'm being really fucking real, I think it's a bit of both.
Takes like a half a question, usually can't answer it, but they asked him, what do you think about Iran? Would you hit Iran? And he goes, as long as they don't hit the nuclear stuff. That's the thing you want to hit, right? I said, I think he's got that one wrong. Isn't that the what you're supposed to hit? I mean, it's the biggest risk we have. Nuclear weapons, the power of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry. You know, I rebuilt the entire military, jets, everything. I built it, including nuclear, and I hated to build the nuclear, but I got to know firsthand the.
This is why you can never take anything this man says seriously. He literally will be like, the N-word. That's right. Everyone, like, he'll be in Michigan, okay? And some dumb fuck, Trump supporter, will literally be like, hey, Mr. President, like, how will you how will you defend the auto workers here? And he'll be like, nuclear war, the N-word. It's gonna happen. Everyone, Mr. President, what do you think about climate change? Nuclear climate, nuclear warming. Nobody talks about global warming more than me. Nuclear warming. And it's like, so if you're that worried about nuclear war, why are you currently saying we should nuke Iran's facilities or hit Iran's nuclear facilities? What happened? I thought it was a peaceful dove.
The power of that stuff, and I'll tell you what, we have to be totally prepared. We have to be absolutely prepared. But when they asked him that question, the answer should have been hit the nuclear first and worry about the rest later. And that's what they should. That's what if they're going to do it. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. But we'll find out whatever their plans are. But it only takes like a half a question. Usually can't answer it. But they asked him, "What do you think about Iran?"
Yeah. What do you think about Iran? All right, let's hear. What? Here you go.
The N-word.
It's so wild to be alive during the fall of America. Yeah. They're on the roofs this time. Lamau, read the guy's bio. Christian, conservative, MAGA patriot, Oklahoman, God, gun, Constitution, CCP equals China equals Chinese. Wait, what? Okay, no shit. Snipers in Butler, Pennsylvania. They finally conquered slope roofs. I doubt it's the fall of America, to be honest. I mean, how big is this fucking crowd? Jesus Christ. It's like, I mean, he had none of that last time around. You know what I'm saying? Bro, more people. I'm just saying, dude. Hey, listen, maybe some people are there for an alternative reason, an alternate reason, you know? I'm in the crowd. Do you see me? Yeah. I'm very excited to see what the fuck happens at this rally.
We just heard an update from Vice President Kamala Harris in North Carolina on the federal.
Yeah, we don't care. All right, let's continue with this rally.
For today's event, which will be held in the exact same location as the one in July. Caitlin Huey-Burns is in Butler. Caitlin, what more can you tell us?
Good morning, Michelle. Well, as you can see behind me, supporters are already lined up, and Donald Trump doesn't take the stage here for another 10 hours or so. We have a month to go before Election Day. This is a key battleground state. It's a chance to rally supporters in a place where Trump and Harris are running neck and neck in our polling. But supporters we've been talking to here say this is more than that.
How much you want to bet a big chunk of those people flew in specifically to go to this rally because of the symbolic reason? And it's not necessarily just like, it's not actually fucking, Pennsylvanians that are coming from all around the state. Brian Ruth is trying again. He can't, bro. He can't. They locked my man up.
This, to them, is a symbol of perseverance.
Ready to roll?
Michael Wayman drove across the country to support Trump and attend today's event.
So you have come all the way from California.
Southern California.
To be here. What does it mean that he is returning here to the site of the first assassination attempt?
I actually think that it just shows his wherewithal and kind of making a point that I'm coming back to where tragedy could have happened and I'm back.
Some rallygoers who were there when shots rang out at the July 13th rally are returning again.
This is Butler. We don't stand down, we stand up. And we come back to support our president.
On Friday, Trump visited another battleground state to attend an emergency briefing in Georgia on Hurricane Helene recovery, where he joined a former foe. Since the 2020 election, Trump has lashed out against Republican Governor Brian Kemp for certifying the election results in Georgia, which Joe Biden won. But now, with the state in play again, the former president praised Kemp.
The governor, again, is doing a fantastic job.
His track record for
of the auto industry was a disaster.
Vice President Harris was in Michigan on Friday, where she's competing with Trump for working-class voters.
Make no mistake, Donald Trump is no friend of labor. He encouraged automakers to move their plants out of Michigan so they could pay their workers less. And he said striking and collective bargaining don't make, quote, a damn bit of difference.
Now, as you can imagine, security has been heightened here. U.S. Secret Service had expanded the security perimeter and will have personnel stationed both inside and outside of that perimeter, including on the roof of that shed where the shooter fired those shots on July 13th. And authorities are expecting at least 25,000 people to come here. Dana?
All right, Caitlin, thank you.
Deliver the greatest economic boom to America than we've ever seen.
It's a mad dash until Election Day, and both former President Trump and Vice President Harris are out on the campaign trail right now in key battleground states. Trump is heading from Georgia to North Carolina. Harris is in Michigan. I want to bring in CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton. Harry, we talk a lot about battlegrounds, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona. I'm hearing Democrats expressing a lot of concern right now about Michigan. Where do Harris and Trump stand?
I feel like CNN is trying to make Harry Enton into Steve Kornacki, and it's just not working.
Stand in Michigan right now.
Yeah, I think there's good reason for Democrats to be concerned with what's going on in the Wolverine state. And we can see it right here in the polling average. Look, if you look at the Democrat versus Trump margin in, of course, the great state of Michigan, what do we see in the polling average? We see Kamala Harris.
October 2024. I would have loved to see what like Joe Biden's October 2023 numbers look like versus what they look like after.
Harris only up by a point, right? Compare that to the 2020 result when Joe Biden won, of course, in Michigan by 3. Joe Biden at this point in the polls in 2020 was up by 6. No matter what way you splice it, 1 point is significantly less than 6 points. It's a race at this particular point, Mr. Tapper, that is far too close to call. And of course, Michigan is so pivotal, both for Kamala Harris and for...
Is it? It doesn't feel like it, does it, chat? To me, it doesn't feel like Michigan is pivotal at all. Or at least like the way that the Democrats are behaving about Michigan makes it seem like it's not even remotely important. I mean, they're directly responsible for killing half the fucking family members of a key constituency there. I don't get it. It always makes me feel like the Democrats are not running as though they want to win Michigan.
For Donald Trump, but even more so for Kamala Harris, because this is the chance they win the election if they lose in the great state of Michigan. The chance that Harris wins the election if she loses in Michigan is just 7%. For Trump, it's 16%, slightly higher. But I think the key nugget that you can take away from this data is Michigan is a must-win, but it's especially a must-win for Kamala Harris.
There's also a lot of talk. There are a lot of union members in Michigan, and we know union leadership's endorsement of a presidential candidate only goes so far. It really comes down to the rank and file members who might be in favor of Trump because they're worried about electric vehicles. There might be cultural issues, et cetera, et cetera. Where does the union vote stand in Michigan?
Yeah, so let's take a look. We'll look at this year, and then we'll compare it to where we were back in 2020. So this is union households in Michigan, presidential election margins. Look at this. Joe Biden won that vote by 15 points back in 2020. Look at where the margin is now. Harris is ahead in union households, but that number, that lead for her, is down to just 6 points, down to 6 points. And this mirrors something that we've seen nationally, and that is, at least among union households, Kamala Harris is right now showing the poorest showing for any Democrat.
Dude, I just saw something absolutely fucking insane. Elon Musk's Twitter, ladies and gentlemen, gear up for it. This fucking account says, the mayor of Asheville, North Carolina is Esther E. Mannheimer. If you're wondering, yes, she is. Now, at first, I didn't fully understand until I saw Izzy's retweet of this. Apparently, it's not even talking about DI. It's talking about the fact that she's Jewish, which is, at this stage, like the most old school style of anti-Semitism. Okay? Like, this is straight up village pogrom style anti-Semitism. The Jew did the weather event. Like the village Jew is responsible for the natural destruction that befalled the village is literally the anti-Semitism of a time when electricity wasn't available. Okay? We are straight up. Nope, not even welcome back Adolf Hitler. No, this is straight up different, like multiple centuries prior to Adolf Hitler style of anti-Semitism. When people say blood libel, this is what they're originally talking about, okay? Now, the reason why I showed it to you in this cropped way is because maybe you think, Hassan, why the fuck are you talking about this random Nazi? Obviously, it's not that significant. This has 50,000 likes and 9,000 retweets. Holy fuck. 11 million views, dude. We are so cooked. We are so incredibly cooked. When I tell you how cooked we are, I don't think we understand how cooked we are. Bro, this is like around the time when writing was invented style anti-Semitism, okay? Like history is beginning and unfolding around us era anti-Semitism. Like I'm not talking Adolf Hitler levels, okay? We already reached Adolf Hitler levels. We went beyond. Yeah, this is circa printing press anti-Semitism. What the fuck? You're almost in time for the, it's like starting. This is getting expelled from Spain levels of anti-Semitism. Yeah. Welcome back 13th century Catholic priests. I mean, this is insane, brother. This is insane, okay? Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yes, they can control the weather. It is ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done. But fear not, guys. MTG is pro-Israel, so it doesn't matter when she says they can control the weather. I'm not even kidding, dude. This isn't even like popular sentiment being expressed. This is more so a testament to Elon Musk actively trying to promote Nazi propaganda. Okay? Actively doing so. There is no other explanation for this. He is just straight up. He is straight the fuck up running. Like he's running bots, okay? Anyone that says anything remotely Nazi gets highlighted, elevated. Climate change isn't man-made versus yes it is, but it's the Jews that are the ones doing it. Yeah. Climate change is fake. It's not real. Unless I can somehow say Jews have a weather machine and they're the ones doing it. That's awesome. So insanely cooked. How can you be anti-Semitic and pro-Israel? Hello? Many are. What are you talking about? There are more anti-Semitic pro-Israel supporters than there are, I guess, like pro-Semitic or Jewish Israel supporters in general. Okay? There are more anti-Semitic pro-Israel people in the United States than there are Jews across the board, okay? Like Jews, pro-Israel, anti-Israel, just like total number of Jews. Oh my God. We have officially reached anti-Semitism levels beyond. Hold on. I'm just posting those screenshots. Man, just pull your pants down already. Why? You want to suck my cock? What's going on? Why do you keep asking me to pull my fucking pants down? Their follow-up tweet and reply gives off the whole I'm trolling you guys. Nah, dog. That's just a straight up fucking Nazi. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, let's get back to CNN.
You'd have to go all the way back since 1984 in the Reagan landslide when Mondale won union households by even less than right now what Harris is ahead by. But the bottom line is, yes, Harris is ahead among union households in Michigan, but that margin is considerably slimmer than what Joe Biden won amongst them back in 2020.
And in this perfect storm in Michigan for Harris, Democrats are also worried about losing strength with Arab American and Muslim American voters in places such as Dearborn because of what's going on in the Middle East right now. What does history tell us?
Yeah, what does history tell us about Dearborn? It can basically change at a moment's notice. You know, Joe Biden won in Dearborn by 39.
The funniest meta I've seen from like dumbass liberals is like, Why would Kamala Harris cave to these like incredibly conservative Muslim voters? Instead, she should be caving to these incredibly conservative white voters in the suburbs. Okay? That's literally the argument now. They're saying that like all these Muslim voters are actually super fucking conservative. And yes, in the pre-9/11 universe, the Muslim voting bloc, albeit marginal, albeit tiny, was a somewhat conservative bloc of voters. Post 9/11, however, they have reliably voted for the Democratic Party and, as a matter of fact, have more positive opinions on the LGBTQ community than the white evangelical Protestant Christians have. Historically speaking, there's empirical evidence for this. The Pew Center of Research have regularly conducted studies on the attitudes of different religious groups in this country. Just want to mention that before people fucking chirp at you over this. Like, white evangelical Protestant Christians are significantly more homophobic and anti-queer than American Muslims are. Okay? Having said that, however, their demands have nothing to do with conservatism and everything to do with America's unlimited genocide in Gaza and now Lebanon and maybe some other fucking places that Israel chooses to change its crosshairs on. Kamala Harris is going to lose Michigan. Why is the red pill community dominated by Muslims? Dude, if you think that there are that many Muslims in general in the United States of America and in the Western world that are following this like red pill shit, you are the funniest loser on the planet. Yes, dude, I know there's a lot of people who say that they're Muslim, and all of them are fucking actually Christian, by the way, who then turn around and go, oh yeah, I'm Muslim now because they're conservative. You are just simply duped by the likes of Sneeko. Like, you think Sneeko is an honest broker? You think Andrew Tate is an honest actor? Or do you want to use this in an Islamophobic way so it now suits your purpose to assume that they're honest brokers here? Were they conservative before they found the light of Allah? Or do you think that that is just simply an extension for them? I love these dumbass liberals who literally who just go from like, these guys are charlatans, they're Holocaust deniers, they're insane conservative weirdos. In a moment's notice, they go, no, they're actually very honest. They've actually found the light of Allah. They're going to go to Jannah. They're real Muslims. The red pill community is dominated by Muslims. So fucking stupid. It's especially stupid to come to the chat of a Muslim person and say this. You know what I mean? You're in the community of an anti-red pill Muslim commentary person, and you're literally being like, why is the red pill community dominated by Muslims? Like, you're a fucking dumbass, dude. Why do they placate Muslims? I don't know. Why do they... Sneeko is Haitian. Why does he placate to fucking Nazis? Aiden Ross is Jewish. Why does he placate the Nazis? I don't know. Maybe because they're fucking morons, dude. Maybe because they're fucking morons. Have you thought about that? No, I know you know that already. You just don't care about that part of the equation. You just want to fucking be Islamophobic and somehow make this into an Islam issue. No, I mean, unless it's always a good time, actually. Hold on here on unmuting you.
All right.
To be fair, Sneeko, push back against the racism now. You're such a fucking moron, dude. You're the biggest moron of the highest order.
Calm the F slur.
You are such a fucking baboon, dude. Straight up donkey-brained idiot.
Calm the F slur. That's
if you
what
think
he needs.
Pushed back against the racism. No, dude. He said Haitians, which he is a part of, okay, because he is half Haitian, are not fucking eating cats and dogs. And his entire psychopathic Nazi fan base said, shut the fuck up. You are a barbaric cat eater and dog eater.
Good afternoon, everybody.
You have the brain of a snail, is right. If you think that he is like legitimately sneaky, Sneeko is legitimately pushing back against the racism. He literally is. He is a Holocaust denier, dude. He is a Holocaust denier who advocates to lower the age of consent. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, what are you saying? God, I despise some of you fucking morons so much. I swear to God.
So hot outside.
Anyway.
It is so hot outside, Hassan. Do something.
I can't do anything about it.
Global warming is out of control. I can't escape the heat. It's October.
Yeah, bitch.
And it's 85 degrees.
You're used to fucking Portland, Oregon shit.
Even Oregon's hot. It's 74 degrees out. Something needs to happen.
Nuclear warming. Nobody talks about it.
Move the global warming to Florida.
Nobody talks about warming.
Holy plastic surgery. What happened to her face?
That's Laura Trump, dog. Chill.
Jesus Christ. She looks like holy shit.
Wait, let me see what my AC's at right now. It should be cranked up.
Sorry, I'm only misogynistic to Republicans.
I'm Jewish. I'll put in a good word to our weather machine, Austin. Yeah. Jews are controlling the weather.
They are,
but they're
folks.
making it hot.
That's right.
They're making it too hot in Portland, Oregon.
That's right.
In Los Angeles, California.
Democrat-run cities.
They
way
love
too
the
hot.
tropical weather. That's why they went to
really
the desert.
do.
That's why they went to Israel. And that's why they went to Boca Raton. That's the part that doesn't make sense,
Oh my
by
God,
the way.
I spent a lot of
If you're
time in
a Jew,
Boca.
if you're a Jew and you have the capacity to control the weather, why the fuck are you literally sending a hurricane to a massive Jewish community in Florida? Like, that also doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But I guess Nazis are so fucking stupid that they don't ever think about these things at all, obviously. Yeah, Jews control the weather. That's why they're dominating their own areas that they live in. Yeah, they're self-hating Jews. Yeah, that makes no sense, but whatever.
Is there another hurricane going to Florida?
Yeah.
Florida couldn't be any more insufferable.
If Jews control the world, how come we don't have our holidays off work? Yeah, that's that's to quiet the suspicions. That's right. That's probably what it is, I think.
Well, how are you doing today? Other than that, I thought it was supposed to be a fun day. When I left, you were like,
"Yeah, I mean,
Saturday
it
fun
was.
day."
It did start off with.
It's never fun.
Okay, dude, chill out.
But I love this shit.
Okay, first of all,
so you know. Okay,
last night this motherfucker literally was like, "Bro, you want to turn on some YouTube?" I was like, "No, dude, I don't want to turn on YouTube."
We sat on the couch for an hour and a half together and didn't watch anything. We couldn't agree on anything because I came to the conclusion that at nighttime, what I watch Hassan on YouTube, and he didn't want to turn on videos of himself, which makes sense.
But I did ask him something from the liberal perspective that I think is very instructive. I was like, Austin, do you like when I criticize Kamala Harris, like in terms of, because he said his favorite is when I do hogwash, like when I make fun of Republicans.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And so I asked him, I was like, so as a liberal, like, do you like it when I shit on Kamala Harris?
I said,
and he said he doesn't really like it.
I don't enjoy it. It's not good content to me.
Yeah, he doesn't enjoy it as much.
It's just sad. It's more sad when you do it to because like it's like constructive, like valid, like, but like
okay, checking.
When you watch the hogs, it's like they're so fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no, I don't hate it in a way that like it's not valid criticism. I agree with the critique. It's just not entertaining to me because it's like shit. It's just not as fun to watch because the hogs
is just sad. It's just sad.
Like the hogs are funny. Like they're so stupid. It's funny. Whereas like the Democrats like are just like it's just not funny because it's the party that could be something great,
but they choose to not do that
for some reason not to be great and just capitulate to the center right because they think that some invisible human being or there's some large constituency that they will get good.
Basically, it's not fun to get hogwashed. I mean, when I shit on the liberals, it's not like I'm doing hogwash. I'm more angry. I think I'm more resentful and angry towards liberals when I criticize them because, like, I expect them. Maybe I believe in their lies as well, where I expect them to be like at least a little bit more educated and know better, but they fucking, choose to operate on the same.
Somebody in the Democratic Party told Tim Walz it was people want them to be more bipartisan or some shit. You cannot be bipartisan with a fucking Nazi.
Wait, what do you mean? Let's hear what this guy has to say. I want to be bipartisan with this guy. That's the craziest widow's peak I've ever seen, dude.
There's no middle ground on the rights of people.
All right, before we go,
shut up, Laura.
What we're going to do here today, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to make a new memory in Butler, Pennsylvania. And this will mark the moment that this election was won for Donald J. Trump. Let's send him back to the White House on November 5th. We love you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. God bless.
I like like how Trump keeps getting sued by the music that he uses.
Yeah,
He just
so he
keeps
has to
getting
use different ones. Yeah,
Are you-
Tropical
Jesus,
Storm
look
Milton.
At you. Look at this. Look at this like versatile news coverage.
Tropical Storm Milton expected to approach Florida's west coast by midweek with life-threatening storm surge.
Oh fuck! Another one. Look at this. And now to weather with Hassan Piker.
All right, and now we're back to Harry Enton. A must-win. Enton on the stakes of Harris and Trump in battleground Michigan. Kamala Harris is within the, not even in the margin of error. Like, Kamala Harris is going to probably fucking lose Michigan at this point. And she's like 1 point away with hundreds of thousands of voters being like, yeah, dog, I'm not voting for you. You are taking my tax dollars that I'm paying and directly giving the tax dollars to a murder machine that is executing my immediate family members. That is ridiculous. I'm not fucking voting for you. Meanwhile, Kamal Ahmad Jawad was killed by the Israeli state with American weapons, and he was in Lebanon. Okay, he's from Dearborn, Michigan. Matthew Miller literally said he is a legal permanent resident, so he's technically not an American citizen. That's what he said.
Lebanon, can you give us any? We have seen those reports. It's our understanding that it was a legal permanent resident, not an American citizen.
Wow, what a distinction, dude.
Wow.
What? Thank you for saying
But you know
that.
what? So we shouldn't care for some reason.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's really cool.
Oh yeah.
To know that you know, that's how little the American state gives a fuck about its own goddamn citizens. That's crazy.
But we obviously offer our sincerest condolences to the family on their loss.
Oh, serious condolences. Okay.
Wait,
yeah.
is Trump on yet?
No, not yet.
How do you know?
That's great, man. Thanks. Like, dude, why the fuck? Why the and I think he was also a citizen anyway. I don't think he was like, not that it fucking matters, okay? Not that it matters. They did this exact same thing. They, for the record, did this exact same fucking thing with Ayşenur Ezgi, who is an American citizen, okay? Straight up. Literally fucking grew up in Seattle, went to college there, activist, goes to West Bank, gets shot by an Israeli sniper, okay, in the West Bank for no reason other than the fact that, you know, she is just standing there in solidarity with the Palestinians. And then our government went, she's a Turkish American citizen. Yeah, family of Lebanese American Dr. Kamal Ahmad Jawad, who was killed by Israeli forces in his last days. He chose to help the elderly, disabled, injured. He served as a guardian, provided them with food, mattress, and other comforts, and anonymously paid off their debts. And there are people in this community that are saying, it's my friend's father, he's a citizen. It's my friend's father-in-law, he's a citizen. Yeah, the New York Times also called Ayşenur Ezgi a very Turkish person. It's just like, when Israel kills someone, also then they acknowledge that they mistakenly referred to the Michigan native as a non-citizen and then offered condolences to the man's family. Kamal Ahmad Jawad from Dearborn, Michigan was killed by an Israeli airstrike in Lebanon on Tuesday, according to a statement released by his family. We are aware and alarmed of the reports of the death of Kamal Jawad, who we have confirmed is a U.S. citizen, said the department. So I guess he wasn't a non-citizen. But let's be real. Every Arab in America knows this. Every Lebanese person in America knows this. Every Muslim in America knows this. If you are in the crosshairs of America or you're in the crosshairs of Israel, which is an extension of America, and you get killed, you get assassinated, you are not a citizen. They do not treat you like a citizen. The distinction also exists for Lebanese civilians that wanted to leave Lebanon. America offered chartered flights out of Israel for American Israelis who could escape Israel in the aftermath of October 7. America did not do such a thing for the Lebanese civilians when Israel was bombing Beirut. So it's hard not to conclude that the American government does not give a fuck about American citizens when they are in the crosshairs of America or Israel, which is a continuation and extension of America.
Damn, this guy's good.